London, 1865. A military hospital room falls silent as the lifeless body of Dr. James Barry lies still. The staff, familiar with the brilliant, temperamental surgeon, prepare him for burial. But as the nurse removes the garments, the room freezes. James Barry was a woman. A revelation hidden for more than 40 years had finally surfaced. A secret buried beneath medals, military ranks, and the title of Inspector General. The truth unraveled not with words, but with a body that refused to stay hidden. Born around 1789 in Cork, Ireland, Margaret and Bulkeley entered a world that confined women to silence and servitude. No matter how intelligent, ambitious, or skilled, women were forbidden from voting, holding public office, or studying medicine. But in private, Margaret read voraciously. Her uncle, a renowned artist, introduced her to liberal thinkers and reformists. In secret conversations, she absorbed ideas of human rights, science, and social change. Whispers began. Margaret had no future as a woman. But perhaps a new identity could open doors that would otherwise remain locked. In the early 1800s, Margaret vanished. From her absence emerged James Barry, a young man with a high voice, sharp intellect, and unwavering ambition. With the help of family allies and forged references, Barry enrolled in the University of Edinburgh Medical School. Medical students questioned his age. Professors noted his delicate frame. But no one suspected the truth. At just 22, Barry graduated and joined the British Army as a military surgeon. What followed was a career defined by brilliance and controversy. Barry performed one of the first recorded cesarean sections where both mother and child survived. He revolutionized hygiene practices in military hospitals. He pushed for health care for enslaved populations and prisoners, challenging colonial systems from within. Promotions came swiftly. From humble surgeon to Inspector General of Hospitals, the highest medical post in the British military. Every day was lived in constant vigilance. A tightly bound chest, loose uniforms, gloves that never came off. Barry traveled across the empire, South Africa, Jamaica, India, bringing reform and healing, all while protecting the secret at the heart of it all. Only one companion remained constant, John Danson, a loyal servant and perhaps the only soul who knew the truth. Barry kept the world at arm's length. No romantic relationships. No family, no vulnerability. Critics called Barry abrasive. Soldiers feared his temper. But patients, especially women and children, saw compassion in his eyes, care in his touch. Behind the rigid uniform was someone who had once lived without power, and now used his own to protect the powerless. The rumors never stopped. Fellow officers questioned his physique. Some believed he was a eunuch. Others whispered of secrets too dangerous to name. Barry's records were meticulously guarded. He once forbade an autopsy after a dual injury. Every measure was taken to protect the identity he had built from nothing. Even in photographs, Barry appeared carefully styled, hat tilted, expression stern, posture controlled. A life orchestrated like a performance, with no room for mistakes. In 1865, Barry contracted dysentery while inspecting a hospital in London. At the age of 76, he died alone. The British Army prepared to bury a distinguished male officer. But when the nurse, Sophia Bishop, undressed the body, the truth emerged. Beneath decades of deception lay a female body, one that bore signs of childbirth. The discovery stunned the military. An investigation followed, but the government quickly sealed Barry's records. The official cause of death listed him as male. No acknowledgement of what had truly been revealed. Yet Sophia spoke. She told the press. The secret could not remain buried. James Barry's legacy became more than a medical record. For some, Barry was a woman forced to live as a man to pursue her dreams. For others, Barry was a transgender pioneer, someone who lived true to his identity despite the cost. Historians continue to debate. Letters uncovered decades later revealed that even Barry's closest allies struggled with how to define him. What mattered more, the body he was born with, or the life he chose to live? No definitive answers exist. What remains is this: James Barry was a revolutionary, a surgeon who saved lives, a voice for the forgotten, a person who refused to be erased by society's expectations. In a world where gender fluidity, non-binary identity, and trans visibility are still debated, Barry's story strikes a powerful chord. His life forces uncomfortable questions. Who gets to define identity? What risks are justified in pursuit of purpose? How many more lived and still live in shadows? Barry's story continues to inspire. Plays, books, and documentaries explore his life with reverence and complexity. Activists point to Barry as an early symbol of resistance. And the medical field now honors him not just as a surgeon, but as a human being who defied the limits of their time. The body buried was labeled male. The history remembered is more than binary. A name carved in stone, a secret carried in silence, a legacy that lives across time and crime. Subscribe to Across Time and Crime, where you can watch all the crime stories and mysteries that history tried to bury.